That one? That one. It's that one. Hi everyone. Welcome in. I am Chef Jay Tay. Happy to see you. Oh, let's see here. The lovely operating system known as Windows has defaulted all my audio sources, as often happens when it updates. And I didn't anticipate that. So now I have to figure out which ones are which here. I'm pretty sure it's that one. And then it's this one for the other shot mic. And let's do a test. Wow, is that a lot of background noise? Okay, let's try that. That's a little better. Happy to see everyone. Thank you for joining me. I've got lights going on the fritz. I've got audio out of whack. Wait. It's Can It Be Delicious night. If you are unfamiliar, tonight you get to choose between 25 cans, and then I get to make dinner from it. Hopefully everyone is doing lovely. Let's see here. Let's get the camera working with me too. I do have some extra cans down here. And I'm going to use this to serve like a subscriber incentive. If we have gifty subs, we have cans that we can introduce to the next batch. So we've got spinach, we got mixed bean salad, we've got original mushy peas, and we've got herring. And if we have someone extremely happy to benefit the stream, I might be able to be convinced to buy the $18+ can of haggis. That's gonna take some dedication. But those are not in the list already. Those can be added. Let's make some coffee to start. Meanwhile, I should say hello to everyone that's joining in there. Hello, Melvin. Welcome in Goat for XP. Hello, Will Poker. Welcome in, Muskeg. I'm sad that the emote is doing the text rather than showing the emote. We'll work on that. It's at least trying to show the right emote again. And hello there, Soph. Did I say hello to you? Welcome in, Soph. I also have a can in one of these bunches. I've mentioned it several times. It's been through several rounds now. I don't know what's in the can. Most everything else I have some idea. Whoa. What you going for next? Guinness ice cream is delicious. I'm not even really a fan of Guinness. I do like some heavier beers, but Guinness is not among them. But Guinness ice cream hits. That's good stuff. That's the problem. And now that's making noise. Okay. Now that we got that properly dialed back in again. And from the right source. Nope, gold for XP. You do not need that for shoe pastry. What am I forgetting? What do we got going here? Sugar. Combi ovens, you do want your oven to be absolutely primed and fully heated and at temp for that. So it's not something you want to use, or I wouldn't recommend as much, like a air fryer or along that line for that type of a process. It'll do it fine, but it won't do it as well as just having a hot oven with a lot of reinforcement. You know, it's like it's a stone oven sort of a thing. And it's because, like with like puff pastry, you're using evaporation as your leavener, and so you want it to just immediately be hot. Though combi oven, you could, depending on the combi oven, the combination that's in the oven, you can inject steam with many of those, which that could benefit you in that, but speaking of the scramble being sentient, don't look in the trash. There's labels in there that give away some of the ingredients. I've also got the light. I said this at the beginning, but I didn't really describe it. I've got the light off in front of me, and I think at this point I'm a little bit worried the light fixture is going. I've gone through 2 or 3 light bulbs in that thing, and granted, I'm using the cheaper LEDs that should be dimmable. They're labeled as dimmable, but they're just flickering in that thing. Appreciate y'all joining in with me. Cheers. Good stuff. Let's see here. We need to start setting up our polls. There, that's the button. All right, with our first set of selections. We got a 4-way tie going. It's not showing up great on screen there. Oh, that's why. There we go. That still doesn't look great, but it looks better. You can actually tell which I voted for. This first of 5 polls or votes. Not even telling you which one we're starting off with as far as which of the categories. Anyone that's been watching for a while has probably picked up that there's sort of categories to the tins. Oh wow, that was quick. I didn't see how long I had done that vote for, but we have a winner in number 3. Let's see. Let's check which ones you didn't choose, and I don't have them in front of me. There. Oops. Nope. We need to stop showing that. Let me pull up my inventory list here. Well, let's see. You did not pick beef gravy. You did not pick country sausage gravy. You did not pick green enchilada sauce. And you did not pick Cajun potatoes and peppers. All right, on to the next one. We'll do 2 minutes on this one. I have to be careful not to turn around now and show the list of what is available. Don't even want anyone gaming the system. Early tie for 1 and 5. Which is good, because I think 1 or 5 is the unknown can. I think the unknown can is here somewhere. I think it's this container that has it. Yeah, there's been several ties before. I'll do a second vote, especially if it's more than 2. And then if the second vote doesn't fail to pick one, I flip a coin. I don't think there's been one for all 5, but there has been like a 4 or a 3 before. Like, it's not like we got 1,000 people in chat or something. It's... Ooh, number 1. Mystery can. I don't even know what's in this. But you did not pick refried beans, mixed chili beans, green pigeon peas, or navy beans. White navy beans. Is it saying new poll? Is it alerting in like new poll created? Is the overlays actually working? I don't think they are. Two with an early lead on this one. Ooh, that's a nice scramble, too. Ooh, we got a tie. 2 and 3 with a tie. Are we going to have a runoff? I wonder if the number one chooser wishes they had chosen someone else. We have time. We got to do that again. Only 1 minute on this one. Starting now. And only between 2 and 3. Two and 3 should be showing. Well, someone voted. 2 people voted. 2's leading. Oh, darn it. These are supposed to stay with the... I guess that's easy enough to figure it out. Which one's missing? Two! Get out of there! You did not choose... Well, actually, I didn't... Let's see which... You did not choose mandarin oranges. You did not choose organic pumpkin. You did not choose peach pie filling. And you did not choose pineapple chunks. New poll up there. 2-minute vote. Best of the 5. We've got one last one after this. Yeah, I'm sort of glad that we didn't pick mandarin because I don't have like a whole lot of lettuce greens or something to put. And I think of mandarin sort of like... You can do some dessert stuff with it, but I think of it as more for salads than... Speaking of that, I don't have cabbage either. Got 4 with a lead here. Is 4 gonna get it? Is 4 gonna get it? Chat did not choose mushroom stems and pieces, carrots, corn, or fire roasted diced tomatoes. And for our last vote of the evening, we have our last set of lovely things to choose from. Perhaps the most pivotal of choices. We have... Ooh. What are we gonna choose? One and 5 are tied, huh? Okay. Ooh, is it going to come down to another vote? I guess we got to have a follow-up. 1 versus 5. Early lead for 5. I did a full 2 minutes on this one, since there's probably at least a 30-second lag anyways. Which one am I gonna have to deal with? I'm actually sort of surprised you didn't pick the cocktail weenies. It's a twofer. At least I think that's what it is. I have a number on that one, but I didn't write it down. I think 3 is one of the few cans that have lived through this entire experiment since the beginning. Might actually be approaching expiration. Really? We went for the number 1 can. Of which, yeah. I guess we're finding out together. But you didn't pick the cocktail weenies. You didn't pick the, pretty sure this is roast beef, this is corned beef. And for once, y'all didn't pick the Spam. You always go for the Spam. I'm surprised you didn't go for the Spam. I'm not upset. Actually, if it's roast beef, I think it'll go pretty well with some of the other things. Welcome in, Sniper. Let's get rid of the overlay. The ugly overlay. There we go. It's got a distinctive canned sort of meaty smell to it. Yep. Beefy-ish. So we got beef. What else do we got here? We've got green olives. Beans. Look like a small white bean. This is looking like a pretty damn fine stew right now. Are you feeling this? 62. Ooh, this is dessert. Oregon dark sweet cherries. And for our last item, which I think really sort of seals the beef stew factor here. Asparagus. It says asparagus. It's tips but that doesn't look like asparagus tips to me. I didn't have the heart to call that asparagus tips. It looks like asparagus stems. Yeah, I think that's pretty straightforward, chat. We're making beef stew. And we're going to do something with these cherries baked style. I'll repeat someone wants to gift a bunch of subs. We have a whole bunch of other things that we can, diabolical things that we can add in there. And I might even be open to suggestions too, but... Alright, so... where do I start with all of this? I think we're going to start with dessert. Do I go with... do I make a pastry crust? Do I use... I have Biscoff. I bought Biscoff to have here today. I think cherry and Biscoff is probably a good mix. Now the question is what size container, because that's smaller than I want to use for pie. Like, I don't know what kind of container I'm going to use for that. That's not a bad call. Bad thought, horrible thought. Oh, no. That ain't happening tonight. Let's see if we can... No, we're not using you tonight either. You're getting cleaned. You're at least nicely cured now. Do I have one of these that I can use that isn't all nasty? I guess they're all gone. I'm referring to I have loaf pans, some cheap loaf pans that were obviously just like spray coated to be not, and they're all getting rusty. They all need to be tossed and, I don't know, used for the garden or something. I don't want to say throw out metal. They need to be recycled. A little smaller than a pie. You missed it. What can was the mystery? And what can was the meat? The small white beans were the mystery can. Still not sure what those are, but they're very obviously a bean with the skins like that. A couple skins floating there. And then we have what looks like chunks of roast beef in a beef gravy. Olives, asparagus, Oregon dark cherries. So I think I'm going to start off with the cherries. We're going to do cherry dessert of some sort. Get rid of these old poll results on the stream, my site. And we're gonna run a pre-roll, or run an ad so we don't have pre-rolls, because my bot missed that 12 minutes ago. Crushing Biscoff time. Just so you're aware of the crunchiness that's about to ensue. And then we don't get any real crunch. Awesome. Chat doesn't know Xanahoria. Why I dumped that into the pan instead of a bowl, I don't know. But here we are. Don't really need to add much. Sugar not really necessary. A little bit. I think it's almost a little bit more necessary with graham crackers than with Biscoff. I haven't checked the sugar content of both of them to be able to say, you know, yeah, there's a ton extra sugar in Biscoff. Realizing the stove doesn't look all that great. Hi, Famoose. Well, we have tonight is Can It Be Delicious? So, chat has voted on beef chunks and gravy, asparagus, white beans, green olives, and dark cherries. We're currently working on dessert with the dark cherries. I'm making up a crust. And so I've said I'm probably going to make a stew here with the savory ingredients, and I'm working on something here for the dessert. Make sure to mix up that butter with all of it. I'm going to add a bit of cinnamon here. Thank you for the resub. Greatly appreciate that, Famoose. It's a little bit of light cinnamon in there. And I'm going to go ahead and press that into this pan. Trying to keep going here to keep everyone's interested from the vote. I do have to stop here at some point and put all the cans away. Alright, so we've got this lovely bottom for our pie. We're going to start baking this. I'm just going to toss in the oven as the oven's heating up. Oven set to 350. We'll give that 20 minutes since it's preheating. Good a use as any. I will leave it with that. Yeah, Alex, I don't mind it either. It really gets me when chat likes to compliment my meatballs, though. Oh, train. Guess that's not working either. It's getting to the point with this where I'm going to have to just go through streams and be like, yeah, that didn't work, that worked, that didn't work, that worked. A/B testing all of this stuff. So we got cream cheese, and I've got marshmallow cream. Actually, we'll cheat. Actually, we won't. Oh, I'm going to use this. I was going to put some vanilla in this, but I was gifted some vanilla sugar for the holidays. And so I think I'm going to use some of this vanilla sugar. You can probably find it in Aldi's or TJ's or what have you. I'm just trying to mix it until we get it pretty smooth. I have a feeling the cream cheese may clump up for a little bit, but I think that'll work fine once that comes out of the oven. We just had butter in this, which, waste not, want not. Going to strain our cherries. Or rather, I am going to strain the juice off of these cherries. Hey, they can see me. Chat voted for 5 cans tonight, and I'm making dinner out of those 5 cans. We got cherry, we've got beef chunks and beef gravy, green olives, white beans, and asparagus. So we're doing beef stew and a cherry dessert. I'm just going to set this over here so that it doesn't leak all over my cutting board. And that was actually less juice than I anticipated. I'm going to actually add a little bit of water in here. By a little bit, I mean a half cup. That still might not be enough with that and that and that. Mix the butter in before it like solidifies. Yeah, we're gonna add another half cup of water. Splash of lemon juice. Sugar. We're gonna bring this to a heat, to a boil. Steak tacos, pesto butter salmon, and broccoli and asparagus. Wow, that's multi-meal night. You having one of those bento boxes you used to talk about, right? Or no, that was someone else. Sorry. That sounds delicious. I haven't had a whole lot since last stream. Like, I had the leftovers from last stream and a little bit of peanut brittle. I had an orange dream soda. That was tasty. I bought that when I was shopping. Not a fan of peanuts. Not a fan of sugar. Because if you're a fan of peanuts or sugar, it's sort of hard to go. It's sort of hard to miss. Gotta add tuna noodle casserole to my upcoming streams here soon. So while our crust is baking down in the oven, we're going to bring this cherry jus liquid to a boil. And we're going to thicken that with a bit of cornstarch. Yes, I know arrowroot or perhaps clear gel or half a dozen other things as far as starches may be preferred by bakers. It'll do me okay. We're not selling this and want a perfectly clear glaze. I am taking a photo, but... grab ourselves some starch. Hi, bakery. Awesome. What made it so good? Don't have to explain that. It could have just been a good day, but maybe there was something cool that happened. We're working with cans tonight. We've got dark cherries, green olives, little white beans, asparagus, and beef and gravy. I think it was sold as roast beef, but it's like beef chunks and gravy. It's like stew meat and gravy. We've got a crust, or a Biscoff crust, warming up in the oven. Ooh, we'll get these out. We'll use these tonight. Throw some potatoes in there. Cherry probably, I don't think the cherry would go with that type of gravy. If anyone's familiar with old school, like that diner beef gravy, that's not, it's almost along the lines of the flavor that you get from adding Vegemite into a gravy. But it's either a mushroom or something adding some funk in there that's not beef, but very much associated with beef. And so at least Americans would be like, yeah, that's a beef flavor. No, it's not. But regardless. We're boiling. I guess all these other cans just go over here and don't get used. But that is something that I hadn't thought of, doing like a barbecue with the cherry. Alright, that was our oven coming to 350. We're going to whisk in this cornstarch into our cherry juice, sweetened cherry juice. And that's not thick enough. We need more. And turn the oven back off now, though. because I'm smelling toasty Biscoff. Not too toasty, but toasty. Yeah. We're going to go with that. We're going to let that cool down here for a minute. Don't overflow. I think I want to loosen up this cheese filling in the center even more. It's basically sugar. It's tasty sugar, but it's basically sugar. But I think I want to loosen this up even a bit more. I think I'm going to add a little bit of half and half to that party. Just a splash. Now I'm trying to work some of those clumps out that are sort of obvious in there now. And it is raining out. It is just coming down. I think I want to let this cool down for a minute. I don't want this super hot. We don't need the cherries super hot. We can move on to doing savory things before we finish our sweets. Ricotta and heavy cream. Did he at least add sugar? Okay. Grab a red onion here. Number of the red onions I bought at the store today were a little like giant shallots. They all have a second, or this one actually has two. saw somewhere that we have some of the smallest snowpack on record ever this year. Which, double-edged sword, probably means less flooding in the spring. Less, yeah, and more wildfires. But probably more in, like, other areas. I hope. Sorry to people in other areas, I just hope that they're not here. This is good. It's been a minute since I had myself some beef stew. This is gonna be tasty. Do have some onions. Why, hello there, Raiders. Hello there. I'm Chef Jay Tay. Happy to see all of you. Thank you for sharing your community, Green Hair Gamer. What are we up to tonight? Where were we coming from? What were we doing? I'm working with Can It Be Delicious. This is a fun theme that I do once a month around the 15th. I have chat vote on 5 cans out of 25. And so chat has randomly voted for 5 cans. They voted for a beef chunks in beef gravy that was sold as roast beef. We have green olives. We have white beans, asparagus, and I'm adding some potatoes and red onion to make up beef gravy or beef stew with all of that. And then also the last can that chat picked was Oregon cherries. So I am making a cherry dessert. We've got a toasted Biscoff crust and a marshmallow cream cheese mixture that I am going to add to the thickened cherry juice liquid on the stove and the cherries that are draining over on the counter. So take a seat. Get cozy. Meal Prep Sunday. This is sort of like my inventory of the month day. What'd you make for Meal Prep Sunday? What were your dishes that you make? What you prepping? But back to what I was saying, this is also great for me as far as changing up the inventory, changing up what I have in the house. I bought a whole bunch of other things that'll last me through the rest of the month. This is becoming my sort of like pantry update day. Go back to cutting my onion here. Hi, Jana. Let's get those onions going. Throw a bit of cooking oil in the pan over here. Yep, we're working with beef and gravy, sold as roast beef, but I don't really think of the way it is as roast beef. Green olives, white beans, and asparagus. I'm adding red onion, potatoes, and maybe some celery. We're going to turn that into a stew. And then we also have canned cherries that I have thickened, sweetened, increased, and thickened the canned cherry juice. I've made a Biscoff crust. I've got some cream cheese and marshmallow cream. So Biscoff, marshmallow cream, cream cheese, cherries, and then the gel hopefully on top, and hopefully it'll set up in the fridge. I just used cornstarch though, so I didn't do like gelatin or arrowroot or we'll see how that is when it cools. That's maybe still a bit too thin for this. That's been cooling for a minute. I think I need to add even more starch there. You know what? No, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use actual gelatin. I could do xanthan too. I have xanthan in the house. Where did my gelatin go? You hiding from me, gelatin? It's cheese powder. I give up, you win. This is actually somewhat similar. It's not the same. A dessert my aunt used to make a lot of the time for family of parties. It's she did it with pretzels, as I remember it. And I'm pretty sure it's just with like straight cherry pie filling instead of thickening it like this is. I got the starch back out and then put it back without getting more starch out into the cup. Onions in with the, or salt in with the onions. Onions in with the salt. Alright, now that's back to cooling again. Why do I have celery in the house right now? Besides just celery? That would be because we're doing Cajun tomorrow. We're doing Fat Monday instead of Fat Tuesday. Oh, hey, ads worked. No summary in chat, though. I'm realizing most of my issues right now with the bot have to do with the bot just trying to do too much. It's getting overloaded. I'm pushing it on the potato here to use up the last of this potato that I got in the house. Alright, so these are all nice and toasty, cooked through. We're going to add some water. Dos cups. Add a beef bouillon cube. There we go. Nice spot. Oh, but going back to Louisiana and to Cajun, celebrating Fat Tuesday on Monday tomorrow, I'm going to be making andouille and chicken gumbo, and then I will also be making a Bananas Foster Dutch Baby pancake. Fat Tuesday is Tuesday. Hi, Mimic. I'm bringing this up to a boil so we can add our potatoes in there. Might need a bit more water than this actually with those potatoes. We'll see. Nice! I am less in tune with the actual whole Mardi Gras thing and more just like the excuse to be able to eat a bunch of French American food. And that looks like just enough to get our taters submerged to cook them. Increase the heat there and get that boiling. Maybe get these olives in there too. Olives can benefit from cooking a bit longer, and it's just going to give flavor to everything else. So I am going to ditch the liquid with our olives. And I'm actually, I'm going to give them actually a rinse. I don't see any herbs or anything on them, and they weren't packed in oil. That could have been a problem with this. If the olives were in with oil and herbs, it would severely limit the number of things I would want to use them for. Also, I may have some people's attentions. I'm starting a new theme here on Sundays next month. Early next month. I am going to start doing on Sundays, I'm going to work my way through all of the U.S. states and territories, U.S. territories. At least the populated ones that have some sort of a food history that I can work with. I'm skipping islands in the middle of nowhere Pacific. But, yeah, whole lot of atolls that are just held for military use. So we're going to go through that, starting with Alaska next month, going A to Z. And so we're just going to go next week after week and do a new one. Going to try and find themes, try and find foods, trying to find state dishes. It's only one dinner, so obviously I can't cover everything with every state. But that's going to be the plan for the next little bit over a year of Sundays. And I got them all in my Google Calendar down below in the doobly-doo. Whether you're on YouTube or Twitch. I don't know why they don't call it the doobly-doo on Twitch like they do on YouTube. But yeah, it's all down in the doobly-doo. I'm now questioning whether that word is appropriate, but it's fun to say regardless. We can leave both of these until last minute. We can leave all three of these until basically last minute. I guess we're on to this again. We're back to dessert while the stew boils. It's not quite out to the edge there. Was using up a leftover half brick of cream cheese. I guess I could have maybe upped the marshmallow. I didn't use the whole container of marshmallow. But I think that'll be fine. We'll drop these bad boys down on top. Oh, they went on the floor. We'll take our cherry liquid. We'll whisk that up good. I'm going to throw this in the freezer in hopes that it'll maybe set up a little bit. I'm pretty certain it's going to be messy though, because I don't have a crust on the sides of it and that. Feels black olives would be, I think it would be a harder fit. Green olives I think will work pretty well in a stew. Especially if you allow them to become like part of it. Instead of just, you put olives into something sort of last minute and it's almost like adding water to a soup or a stock. You can tell that the water's been added until you like bring it up to a boil together with all of it, and then magically it doesn't taste as watered down. I'm sure there's science behind that I don't know. Yes, the all-seeing bot. That Alright, so we got a little while with that. What else can we add in here and do while we're waiting? I don't know what else we want to add in with this. We got a pretty solid dinner tonight. Couple of dried porcinis. Mostly in there just for flavor. I'm not a huge fan of dried mushrooms as like in dishes. I find the texture it's usually, even if you rehydrate them, unless you do a really long-term full good job of it, they're still sort of leathery. They're still sort of, they've been there. They're not gonna fully come back. And flavor-wise, they're great for adding flavor to things and they last forever on your shelf. But texture-wise, no thank you. I like mushroom flavors and things. I rarely am I want mushroom kind of guy. I'm rarely after straight mushroom flavor. I love adding mushrooms to things like this, where they're part of a large party. This is a party dinner, chat. If you didn't pick up on that, I'm gonna eat an olive. Ooh, that's cooked through now. That's nice and warm and tasty. Yummy. So I think we're gonna add, I'm gonna add another half cup of water here. Just to up the level here. Hopefully not enough to really alter our boiling temp. Although it did seem to kill it. I'm gonna mute and I'm gonna take 10 minutes. Just leave it here bubbling, or you want ads, chat? You want old school ads, or you want infomercial guy? I'm sad. I've killed this plate. Are you noticing the crack lines? I didn't spend a fortune on it. I bought it at an antique store as but I have a feeling, especially with the darkened color there, with those lines, that things be seeping into those, that maybe if I had a high heat dishwasher I would care less about, but I can't afford that. Yep, that's why I got it. And it was, I don't remember what I paid for it, but it was not expensive. We're gonna leave that closed. Yeah, we're gonna give this, yeah, it's, I never do it, but yeah, it's fun when I actually get around to going through one of those places. Usually I don't leave myself enough time to do things like that. Like, I gotta get home and do this, that, and the other thing that don't really matter, but I gotta get home and do them. Then I come home and watch YouTube instead. And Twitch. Alright, I didn't get an answer on that, so I think we're going to do old school ads for 10 minutes. And I shall be back. I shall be back.
There's no other box of facial tissues like this. Scotty's new Magic Oval box. Only Scotty's give you tissues that float up gently, one at a time, and come out in neat handfuls too, because there's a Magic Oval inside every new Scotty's box. Only Scotty's Magic Oval can give you tissues that float up, smooth and easy. No tugging, no tearing, no extra tissues tagging along. And Scotty's Magic Oval does even more. It lets you reach in for tissues by the handful, all neatly folded, just right for pocket or purse. Scotty's new Magic Oval Box is pretty, too. And inside, soft, strong, sneeze-proof Scotties. Remember, for tissues that float up smoothly and come out in neatly folded handfuls, look for Scotty's pretty new Magic Oval Box, the only one of its kind.
What? Keeping the coffee in the icebox?
Yes, Mr. Jones, it's a new kind of coffee, roasted by a new secret process. Hence, this new none-such coffee has a different flavor, a flavor preserved by vacuum packing, the flavor retained by refrigeration after the jar has been opened. Just taste it. You can't miss that delicate aroma, that clean, mellow taste. Yes, in cooking, the way to a man's heart is most of all through the coffee pot. In every jar, you'll find 3 special pointers, valuable in all methods of making coffee. Try new none-such coffee now. Use half the jar. If not 100% satisfied, get all your money back from your grocer without argument. Special for Movie Week, only 28 cents a pound, plus 3 cents refundable deposit on the jar.
Something new has been added. The General Electric portable mixer now has a drink mixer for delicious shakes and juice drinks in quicker than a shake. An extra attachment at no extra cost. This GE portable mixer weighs less than 3 pounds, yet it's powerful enough to blend the heaviest batter. Also mixes sauces at the range. It has low speed for cookie dough, medium speed for beating frostings, and high speed for whipping egg whites. And look, this handy push button releases the beaters at a touch. And no dangling cord. You can remove the cord so it stores neatly on the wall. Comes in 4 decorator colors. See it at your GE dealers. Does any mixing job anywhere.
Next week, George and Gracie will be brought to you by Carnation.
Hiya, happy boy. Wish you'd been with me today. We saw a great dog show, some beautiful dogs. There was the handsomest poodle, a real beauty, an international champion. His owner gave me some good advice.
There are many dog foods on the market, but the Carnation Company makes the best. It's called Friskies, and it's quality all the way through.
You should have seen the champion collie. He won everything in sight. The handler told me.
A very important part of this champion's diet is meat. That's why we feed him Friskies. The principal ingredient is lean red horse meat, the best you can buy.
So happy, you're getting real quality, and you're going to get your Friskies right now.
Friskies is prepared to the high standards of Carnation Company and guarantees prime-grade nourishment.
It's the newest, most exciting sound in town. It's a General Electric blender that's going around. Completely new from base to lid. Take it apart, see what they did. The non-skid base is the lowest you'll ever see.
The decanter has a 36-ounce blending capacity.
The non-spill lid is really smart. For blending convenience, it comes apart. Add additional ingredients, if you will. Look, no splash, see no spill. Put them all together and you know it's true. The General Electric blender is best for you. If you want to know another reason why,
It's only 10 1/2 inches high.
stores easily on the counter or on a shelf. There's 1,000 things you can make yourself.
Make party spreads.
Great cabbage heads. Blend the meatloaf for a family of 8. Make ice-cold drinks you'll appreciate. Now's the time for you to buy the General Electric blender.
Did he say only 10 1/2 inches high?
And now, before the next show starts, let's enjoy an intermission. You'll find our snack bar chock full of good things to eat and drink. Tasty, tempting hot dogs, thirst-quenching soft drinks, fresh, crunchy popcorn, a complete assortment of delicious candy, and a full line of cigarettes. You've plenty of time, so visit the snack bar now. A tasty treat will double your enjoyment of the show. For your convenience, we shall keep you informed of the remaining intermission time, 3 minutes before the next show starts.
Let's
delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
The next show will start in 2 minutes.
Yes, Toddy, the chocolate malt in a can.
It's so good hot. It's so good cold.
It hits the spot with young and old.
Yes, toddy pleases everybody. Delicious chocolate malted toddy, made with rich, real milk, not powdered milk.
So come and get it, everybody. It's time to drink your chocolate toddy.
Just a minute, folks. Yes, that's all it takes to visit our refreshment counter in the lobby. There you'll find popcorn and an assortment of popular candy bars to please every taste. Try one of these delicious candy bars. Big Time, Butternut, Milkshake, Payday. Topped with Hollywood's super rich coating of the kind you like best. They taste wonderful, they're delicious, they're nutritious. Get one at our confection counter in the lobby now. The next show will start in 1 minute.
A pleasure, Milton. In just a moment, we'll see how well Milton does at the Pentagon. But if you want to see busy hands at your house, just you offer this lively Christmas party dip that's so good to serve with king-size Fritos corn chips. Just follow the recipe right on the Fritos package. Of course, it calls for the famous Philadelphia brand cream cheese, an 8-ounce package, which we blended with 2 tablespoons of milk till it's nice and smooth, like so. Then come 2 tablespoons of Kraft cream-style horseradish for zesty flavor, a 1/4 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, and finally, a dash of salt. And we'll blend our Philly mixture again. And when party time comes, let the folks enjoy this wonderful Philly horseradish dip with crisp king-size Fritos. There are those busy hands. Just remember, you make the best-tasting dips with the freshest-tasting cream cheese you can buy. Philadelphia brand cream cheese. Made only by Kraft.
Say, do you remember this old milk glass setting hen? Well, you know, milk glass was an early American favorite. And when the folks in the old days wanted something really delightful, they'd take one of their milk glass goblets and pour some very fine wine right into it. Well, now, you know, it's Welch's wine that is keeping this wonderful tradition alive. A real wine for folks who really want the best. Yes, today's answer to this age-old family tradition is Welch's family wine, the answer to warm hospitality and really gracious living, and the wine that so many Americans enjoy these wintry days. You know, there is very good reason for this ever-increasing popularity of Welch's wine. Now, you folks know that all sweet Concord kosher wines are made from grape juice, and everybody knows who has been making the very finest grape juice for the past 85 years. Welch's, of course. And the only kosher wine made from Welch's grape juice is naturally Welch's kosher wine. Now, when you want the best in grape juice, you buy Welch's. So, doesn't it make sense, then, if you want the best and most delicious kosher wine, you insist on Welch's family wine? You get several bottles tomorrow. Try the half-gallon size. You enjoy the wine of all occasions. That's right, when it comes to wine, you'll do well to insist on Welch's.
Welcome back. Yes, try the half-gallon size. Yes, try the half-gallon size. Welcome back, everyone. Yes, again, I am Chef Jay Tay. Happy to see all of you. We're doing our Can It Be Delicious stream tonight. We've got 2 of them done. We got our Oregon dark cherries in, I don't know if you call it a refrigerator cheesecake but with a Biscoff crust, a cheesecake and marshmallow center filling, and then topped with cherries and a thickened cherry juice, thickened sweetened cherry juice. That is in the freezer cooling down, or probably more likely warming up my freezer. And then over on the stove we have olives, potatoes, onions, and celery that have been stewing, along with a stock cube and some water. I think we're getting to the point here where I think our potatoes are pretty well cooked through. I think we can add our beans and our asparagus and even our meat. Our meat here is, I believe, was sold as roast beef, as canned roast beef. It's looking more like beef stew and gravy, but it's still beef. And the gravy, when I tasted it earlier, very dinerish, not real beef, but beef-like flavor. That said, I'm sure those are real pieces of meat in there. It's just... I am straining our white beans. The unknown white beans that I have. These just looking like white navy beans. Go ahead and add those in there. Strain our asparagus. Yeah. These were sold as asparagus tips. I guess there is a tip. There's another tip. There's 2. I think those might actually dissolve. Those are so cooked. Those asparagus may not make it. Like, they are soft. So I'm going to have to be a little bit more tender with how I'm treating that. And yeah, I'm going to add a bit more water. Another cup here to go with everything else. We can definitely hit that with some salt, even though I anticipate canned goods to be much saltier than others. And olives are obviously going to be on the saltier side. Those potatoes do not have any. So, a little bit of salt in there. A little bit of Worcestershire. Garlic seasoning. Garlic powder. A little nutmeg. Pepper. I'm going to trust a billion cube to have the MSG levels that I'm looking for. So I'm not going to add that. I suspect this is pretty high in some form of MSG too. But I'm waiting for this to all come up to temp together. And then we'll add the beef in. Bring it up the temperature one last time. Oh, are you getting this noise now? That's better. It's pretty damn good. It wasn't what I was expecting, but it's pretty damn good. I don't really know how to say how it wasn't what I was expecting, which I sort of wish I could backtrack on having started that, but that's damn good. So let's hope adding the beef doesn't ruin the whole thing. Okay, we're back to bubbling there. Now we're adding the beef in. I am going to be happy with this. Hey, Soph. So we're just waiting that come back up to heat together. It knew it was time for you to have a snack, right? Oh, I was gonna say you're welcome, boyfriend / husband or whatever. Ice cream too works. I didn't think about it. I didn't want to cannibalize ingredients for tomorrow to make tonight's dinner. But I could have added some green pepper. Yeah, well, that's the weird society we live in today. I mean, mostly it's insurance benefits. That's what I was looking for. I've talked about this before, but I used to know a pretty cool dude back in the day. I didn't know him that very well, but relatively cool dude. And he was just loaded. But one of those people that's just loaded and also doesn't spend a dime. He had been with his girlfriend for I don't even know how long. And I should include, when I last saw this gentleman, which it's been a while, he was in his 70s, mid 70s, pushing late 70s, maybe even older. And because his family didn't approve of the woman he chose as his lifelong partner. They own 2 separate properties next door to each other at 70 plus. Few jalapenos, because why not? Add a little heat to the party. And there we have our dinner for tonight. We have our cherry dessert along with it. It has at least partially set up. There's a little gel to that, but it's definitely not fully there yet. Yeah, I got some green bananas for... I actually bought green bananas today in anticipation not only of making bananas Foster tomorrow, but I am going to be, maybe, if they stay around, last long enough, I think it's next Monday is Banana Bread Day. Hi, Alex. I think this turned out pretty awesome. The flavor on this is pretty damn good. We'll see how well this gels up. If this is just like scoopable, or if it's... Actually, we're gonna throw this back in the fridge now that we've shown that off to chat after somewhat gelling. And I think this is where we're going to leave things for tonight. I shall be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow I shall be doing Creole or Mardi Gras, or I'm not doing 100% Mardi Gras food though. Like, I've seen some other streamers doing some cool stuff like making king cakes and stuff like that. I'm not quite going there. I am going to be doing Bananas Foster, which, while not necessarily origin there, made famous there with the restaurant that I can't remember the name of that Emerald used to made his name at, Commander's Palace. And then, so I'll be doing a chicken and gumbo, or chicken and jambalaya gumbo, and I'll be doing a Bananas Foster Dutch baby pancake, which, if you're unfamiliar with the Dutch baby pancake, they're both an amazing thing for cast iron owners, and if you own a cast iron, you should definitely look into making one sometime. But I do think this is where we leave it until tomorrow when we make those delicious things. Seeing who's doing things tonight. I think I'm just going to leave it there for tonight. I hope to see you all back here tomorrow night. I hope you have a great finish to your weekend. I wish you the best to your start of your Monday, the start of your new week. And good night.